to do the silent applause to show our appreciation for storytellers after they share their stories. So can everyone see me on the screen? So first, what you do is please put your hands up and do the action together for a silent applause. So after each storytellers, we actually have a silent applause like this. Yes, good job, everyone. So please remember to do silent applause, or else you can also click on the clap function under the reaction button. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Shalni.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Right, here we go. The old master sat there very calmly, his face serene, his eyes clear of all emotion. The young man sitting opposite him, though, he looked very different. He looked like he was on a mission. His eyes were narrowed, his eyebrows furrowed, and his lips were full of concentration. You see, the young man, we'll call him Chang, he was there to challenge and defeat the old master Li. Now, old master Li, he had a reputation of never ever having lost any challenge at all. He was unbeaten champion. And now Chang also had a reputation of beating every single opponent that he had ever challenged. Unbeaten champion. And only Master Li, old Master Li, stood in his way. He was not going to let him. He needed to be the full champion, the main guy. You ever felt that way? Yeah? Let's find out. So they sat opposite one another, and Chang began. He said, my, Master Li, look at you. So weak, so thin. A slight wind, and you'll fall over. Master Li smiled, but he said nothing. Chang continued. Your skin, Aisha, looks like a prune, all wrinkled and dark. Oh, so sad what you've become. Again, Master Li just smiled and said, now, boys and girls, how do you think Chang felt? I mean, here he was saying all these things to Master Li, and Master Li wasn't saying anything back. Have you ever tried that with someone? You know, you said something kind of teasing or mean, and the person won't react. How do you feel? Yeah, how will you feel? A little angry? Yeah, that's Chang. So now Chang was getting a little upset. His face was growing red, and he was becoming like, his body language was like, why wasn't Master Li reacting? Why wasn't he saying anything? Said, no more smile. Said, why? Cat got your tongue? Huh? Can't reply to my words? Huh? Nothing to say? No reaction. And he kept saying things and no reaction. At that point, he became so desperate. He became so angry, so upset. He had to defeat. How was he going to do that? So he attacked even more aggressively. He pointed at Master Li and said, you are a coward. You are a coward. I spit at you. It landed on Master Li's shirt. Thank God, not his face. Oh, at this point, right, Master Li's other disciples and students who had been standing aside, they wanted to attack Chang, but they knew they couldn't. But do you think Master Li reacted? Not at all. Chang said, you are like dirt. I take this dirt and I throw it. I threw lots of dirt at Master Li and it fell on his shirt. Oh, all that dirt. Oh, anybody did that to me, I'd be really upset. But do you think Master Li reacted? No. That same calm, that same serene look just stayed. All this time, his expression did not change. And so Chang kept spitting and throwing and taking things, and he got up and he did all sorts of actions. He sat down and he said more words. All this time, no reaction. Until, oh my, Chang was so exhausted. He sat there, oh, I can't take this anymore. Oh my goodness, why is this man not reacting? And his list was going to go. He was getting up to go. But before that, he turned to the master and said, Master Li, I will take my leave. I am truly beaten by you. But can you tell me, oh, why didn't you react? How is it that you could take whatever I said? Even the students and the disciples wanted to know that. Do you want to know that too? Do you? I want to know. So, this is what Master Li said. His face did not change, nothing at all. And he said, very calm, with a very serene look on his face, he said, Young Chang, when I was your age, I too would accept any words, any gifts that came to me, be they good or bad, I would take everything. But now that I am older, no, now that I am also wiser, I know that I have a choice of whether to accept the gift or not. And so today, young man, I choose not to accept your gift. And Chang went away with a lot to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalni, for your storytelling. So everyone, please do the silent applause. Thank you. Okay, so next up, our second storyteller for today is Roger Jenkins, who founded the 398.2 Festival when he was young and handsome. But now he is very old, but not really so handsome. But then he tells stories to try and keep feeling youngish. But before I pass over to him to tell the story, I spot that he has a very interesting hat.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad you asked me about that hat. Because do you know why I'm wearing this hat? Because it comes from Nepal. And some friends of mine from Nepal, they gave me this hat because when they heard me tell this story, they said, oh, you should wear something from Nepal. And so today, for the first time, I am wearing this hat as I tell you this story. Now, Nepal is a wonderful country, but unlike Singapore, which is very flat, here we are, even Bukit Timah, which is our tallest hill, is only 166 feet tall. But Mount Everest, which is the tallest mountain in the world, that's in Nepal, and that's 29,000 feet tall. So that's much higher than where we are here. And so my story comes from Nepal. And in my story, I have 4 characters. Now, as we said at the start, this story is about bridging generations. So it means that I've got to have somebody who's very young and somebody who is even older than me. Can you imagine that? Yes, even older than me. So we've got a father and his wife, the mother and father, and their young son. And he's probably about, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. Is there anybody here today who's 7, 8 years old? Can I see a show of hands? Oh, yes, I see a couple of people. Very good, very good. And there's also his grandpa. Yeah, his daddy's daddy. Now, the grandpa is, as I said, very old. And because, unfortunately, as he's getting older, as we all do often, he gets sick a little bit more often. And so the boy's father and his mother have to bring him to the doctor. And you know, when that goes to the doctor, that costs money. And unfortunately, this family was very poor. The father, he worked on the farm. Yes, he had a yak. Do you know what is a yak? Oh, a yak. It's like a very big cow, a very hairy cow. You can see it right here in that picture, can't you? And these are the mountains behind. And as you can see, they're all covered in snow because it's very cold a lot of the time in Nepal, particularly when the suns go down. And luckily, a yak, apart providing meat and milk, from which they can, of course, make their butter and their lassi, a wonderfully sweet milk drink. It also, because of that very thick, shaggy coat, keeps them warm. So the father goes out and he looks after the yak and he looks after the field and plants his rice and so on. But he doesn't make much money. So having to look after the old man is very expensive. And also, because he's an old man, you know, he's often feeling the pain, so he can be a bit grumpy. And he often complains. And that doesn't make the boy's mother very happy either. And what's worse is when she brings him the food and gives him the food to eat, when he's eating his rice or his noodles, he often spills it and makes a mess. And when there's a mess, who gets to clean it up? Well, she does. So she's not happy. Now, the boy, he likes grandpa. I wonder how many of you have got a grandpa or a grandma? Can I have a show of hands so I can see? Yes. And I bet you get on with them well too, right? And I don't know about you, but why the boy like grandpa? Well, there's two reasons. You see, whenever he came home from school, grandpa was always willing to listen. He'd say, how was your day today, boy? And the boy would tell him all about what he'd done at break time and what he'd learned in school. And his grandpa would always listen. He always had time to listen to him. But the best thing was at the night time when the boy needed to go to sleep. He'd say, Grandpa, could you tell me a story? And Grandpa could tell him stories. Oh, what stories he'd love to tell. And so the boy liked his grandpa. And in fact, whenever he saw that he'd been given a nice piece of meat, a nice piece of chicken, he'd often like to try to pass it to Grandpa because he knew that Grandpa liked chicken. But when he did that, his mother would say, stop that. I don't give you a nice piece of meat so that you can give it to the grandpa. You're the one who needs to grow big and strong so that when you leave school, you can go out and help your daddy in the fields. What use is grandpa? That made the boy very unhappy. Well, one day, and it's really the day my story begins, unfortunately, when Grandpa took his bowl, he had a nice China bowl that he used for his soup and his noodles. And as he was drinking the soup, unfortunately, he dropped the bowl and it broke on the floor and, of course, made a big mess on their carpet. Well, the boy's mother was not happy. She was so angry that she said to Grandpa, that's it. And she moved him from the table where he sat with the rest of them, and she put him in the corner of the house. She said, you're going to sit there by yourself and you can make all the mess you want and I won't clean up anymore. And that night, when she thought the boy and the grandpa had gone to sleep, the two of them, her and her husband, were talking and they were saying, really, it's too much. We can't look after Grandpa anymore. The bills we're having to pay, we don't have the money. And he's so irritating because he's always complaining and making a mess. What can we do? Asked the mother. And the boy's father said, I know. He said, I've got a plan. I'm going to take him far away, down the valley, all the way to the temple. And I'm going to leave him outside the temple. There's a big tree outside the temple. And then the monks, they'll come out and they'll see the old man. And of course, because they're good people, they'll bring him inside and they'll be able to look after him. And his wife said, oh, that's a wonderful idea. But the temple is a long, long way down the valley. How are you going to be able to bring him there? Oh, Grandpa's very old. He won't be able to walk all that distance, will he? Oh, yes, said her husband. That's true. That's true. I hadn't thought of that. I know, said the wife. I know. What you must do is you must go to the market. The market, said her husband. Yes, she said. And when you're there, you must buy a doko. Do you know what is a doko? Oh, you don't? Oh, well, of course you don't. It's a very special kind of basket that they have in Nepal. I happen to have a picture here. As you can see, it's made of a rattan and it's woven together, and they can be very, very big, easily. You put it using a strap around your forehead here, and it hangs on your back all the way down to your bottom. It's very, very big, and they'll use it to carry big things like pumpkins and melons and watermelons, all that sort of thing, potatoes, carrots, all sorts of vegetables. Because in the mountains, well, there aren't that many roads. Everything has to be carried on people's backs. And the father said, yes, I'm going to get the biggest doko that I can find, and then we'll be able to put Grandpa into the doko, and I'll carry him on my back all the way to the temple. And his wife said, very good. Well, off you go tomorrow, and you make sure you can find the biggest doko that you can find. Well, what they didn't know was that the boy had been standing outside. He wasn't able to get to sleep. He'd been listening to their discussion. And the next day, after his father had gone off to the market to buy the doko, the boy came and said, Mum, he said, why are you going to get rid of Grandpa? And the mother was shocked. She said, what do you mean, Grandpa? We're not getting rid of Grandpa. Oh, but Mummy, I heard you and Daddy talking last night. What? You were listening. You shouldn't listen to things that you're not supposed to. Why wasn't I supposed to listen, Mummy? Is that because you're going to get rid of Grandpa? No, 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 no. We're not getting rid of Grandpa. No, 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 no. You see, we just can't look after him. He's getting very old now. So we're going to send him to the temple where the people, far away, they're going to be able to look after him. And the boy said, but Mummy, if we can't look after Grandpa, why should other people who don't really know Grandpa, why should they look after him? And the mother said, why aren't you doing your homework? You've got far more important things, or go and look after the yak. That's very important. And the boy said, is the yak more important than Grandpa? And the mother said, stop arguing. I'm telling you, we're looking after Grandpa. Now go, 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 go. And she sent the boy out to the field to look after the yak. Well, he wasn't happy. Shortly after that, his father returned home, and sure enough, there on his back, he was carrying a doko. And he said, now listen, tonight, after it's dark, so that our neighbors won't see, after we've fed the old man, we'll get him to get into the doko, and then I'll take him away down to the temple, and then the monks will look after him. And sure enough, after dinner, that's what they did. Father stood up and he said, Daddy, I'm afraid I need you to get into this basket. Huh? Said the old man. But that's a doko. That's meant for carrying vegetables. It's not meant for carrying Grandpa's. And the father said, no, you see, I'm going to take you to the temple so the monks can look after you, because I'm sorry, Daddy, we can't look after you here now. It's just too difficult for us. And the old man said, huh? You're going to send me away? How could you do that to me? You think of all the things I've done for you. But the father and his wife, they weren't listening. And they picked up the old man and they carried him and they put him into that basket. Well, as you can imagine, Grandpa wasn't happy. What are you doing? Hey, hey. And they put him inside. And then the father crouched down and he put that strap around his forehead and he picked up the doko with his grandfather inside the doko. He said, for somebody who doesn't eat very much, you're still very heavy. And he turned around and he was about to walk out of the door. But as he did so, his young son stepped forward and he said, Dad, And his father said, yes, boy, what is it? And the boy said, Daddy, when you've taken Grandpa to the temple, huh? Said Grandpa, you too? You want me to go to the temple? And the boy said, Father, after you've taken Grandpa to the temple, please make sure when you come back that you bring the doko with you. And his father said, huh? Why do I need to bring the doko back? And the boy said, because, Daddy, when you grow old and Mummy grows old too, then I'm going to need the doko as well, aren't I? Because I'm going to need the doko to carry you and Mummy and bring you to the temple so the monks can look after you. Mm-hmm. And when his father and his mother heard that, they suddenly realized what a terrible thing they were trying to do with the old man. And the boy's father felt his knees grow weak, not because he couldn't carry the weight, but because he felt so bad. And he sank down to the ground and he took that doko off his back. And he and his wife helped the old man out from the doko. And they brought him back to the table. And from that day forward, there was no more talk about sending Grandpa away to the corner. And he resumed his place at the table, at the center of the family, where the Grandpa truly belonged. That's the story.
Thank you, Roger Jenkins. So everyone, please do the silent applause together with us. Yay! So
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody.
So for last but not least, we have Pretty for our storyteller for today. So Pretty is a storyteller, leadership trainer, life coach, and performance mentor with passion for helping people reach their potential. She loves to tell funny tales to both adults and children. So without further ado, I pass it over to Pretty. Pretty, over to you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is so good to be here. Well, can you guess where my story is from? Think. Can anybody guess? Yeah, I can see a few hands. Well, yes, you're right. I can see you saying it. It is from Japan. And so let's begin. Mukashi, a long time ago, there was a lord named Shikyo, and he ruled over a small village in Japan. He was a little cruel, but more than cruel, I think he was foolish. Because one day he made an announcement. Just like the people, the parents in Roger's story. He said, "Ha! Old people are kind of useless. They're weak, they don't do any work, they can't do anything. They're really stupid. So what I'm going to do is that anyone over 71 years old is now banished from the village and left in the mountains to die." Everybody was so shocked. How dreadful! How cruel! How stupid! But they were not able to say a word because Shikyo punished everybody who disobeyed him. And so everybody took their parents who were over 71 years old and carried them into the mountains and left them there. That mountain was called Ubitsuyama, which is literally the mountain of leaving the old people. Soon there were fewer and fewer old people in that place. No grandparents, no uncles, no aunties, no teachers. And then that silly Lord Shikyo was pleased. "What a fine village I have now. Soon it will be the finest village in all of Japan because everybody will be young and strong." Do that with me. Young and strong. Now, in this village, there was a kind young farmer. And he lived there with his mother. And even though they were poor, they lived very happily. But as the years went by, the mother grew older, and before long, she had become 71 years old. Now, this young man really did not want to take his mother and leave her in the mountains. And so he hid her, he kept quiet, he didn't celebrate her birthday, he didn't do anything. But everybody knew that she was going to be 71. And he knew, and his mother knew, that if he didn't do it soon, Lord Shikyo would send his soldiers and throw them both into a dark dungeon without food or water. So one day, his mother spoke to him. Son, I think it is time. I know you love me, but we must go into the mountains where you must leave me forever. Oh, that poor young man really cried and he hugged his mother, but he didn't know what to do. So the next morning, he packed a little bowl of rice in some cloth. He gave her a small, lovely jacket and picked his mother onto his shoulders to climb up the mountain. They didn't have any dokyos like they do in Nepal. And he set off climbing up that mountain. And round and round and round that steep path he climbed until there was no path. There were only thin trees everywhere. And it was colder and colder and it was getting darker. And it was quiet. Even the birds had stopped singing. When he suddenly heard tick, tick. It was the sound of his mother breaking off small twigs. Mother, what are you doing? Oh, don't worry, my son. I'm just marking the way so that you will not get lost when you return to the village in the dark. Even now you are thinking of me? When I'm going to leave you in the mountains to die? Of course, you are my son. I will always love you. That can never change. And the young farmer could take it no more. Mother, I cannot leave you. Let's go back and we'll see what to do. And that's what he did. They waited until the sun had set, and in the dark night, he carried his mother down that big mountain, round and round and round, slowly to the little house. And then he dug a big, deep hole and he carved it out, removed all the mud and made it into a tiny secret room. And there he hid his mother. Every day he would feed her in the night. In the night she would come out very quietly to take a little walk and then she would go back. And in the day he worked in the fields like he lived all alone. And that is the way they lived for 2 whole years. All was well. But then one day, there was a terrible commotion in the village because Lord Higa of the town beyond their hill wanted to conquer their village. Lord Higa was even more foolish and even more cruel than Shikyo. I think they had too many of those in Japan. Only one thing can spare you. Bring me a box containing a rope of ash, and I might think about letting your village go. Lord Shikyo gathered all the wise men and said, "Oh, you are men of wisdom. You are so wise. You're so wonderful. Can you tell me how to make a rope of ash?" But the wise men shook their heads. "We don't know. One, and all the ash will spread away. How can we make a rope of ash?" And everybody was sure that their village would be conquered. Even the young farmer was really worried. And he went at that night and he spoke to his mother. "There's a cruel lord. He's going to conquer our village. I don't know what will happen to us." And when his mother forced him, she said, tell me what is the problem?" He told her that Lord Higa needs a rope of ash. That is such a simple thing, my son. I'll tell you what to do. Take a big bucket of water. In that, put lots of salt. Can we do that? Take a bucket. Come on, take a bucket. Take a bucket. Put some salt. Lots of salt. And then find a big rope. Find a big rope? Big rope. And put that rope into it and dunk it and dunk it and dunk it and dunk it. And soak it nicely. Then take it out and put it to dry. Okay? And then let the sun shine, 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 shine. Let the sun shine. Can the sun shine? Shine, 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 shine. And let the rope dry. And then he said, now what you have to do is just light it. Do you know what will happen? The salt will stick to the rope and it will dry in the shape of the rope. So when you burn it, the rope will burn away, but the salt will not. And it will stay, the ash will stay in the shape of the rope. The young man was so happy. He was delighted. He said, yes, let me do that. And he ran to Lord Shikyo and he told him, and he did like how you did. They all made it. They made that rope, put it in a, put the rope in a box, set it on fire and took that rope to Lord Higa. The young farmer was rewarded with many gold pieces and the village was fine and everybody thought it would be okay. But what did I tell you? Lord Higa was cruel, but he was impossibly foolish. And he decided to send another challenge. This time he wanted a log. He sent a log that had 7 bends. Now I have a bit of plastic here, but can you imagine a log that has 7 bends? I can't even imagine. 7 bends in it. And he said that in this log, I want a single piece of silk thread. Now, silk thread is very delicate. How is it going to go in that wavy, curvy log? And again, everybody was upset. But you know what the farmer did? I do that. I run to my mommy. So he ran to his mother and asked her, Mother, do you have a solution for this? And she smiled, of course, and she said, that is not so difficult. I'll tell you what. You put some sugar at the end of the log, find an ant, tie a silk thread to the ant, and leave the ant in the opening of the log. The ant will go smell the sugar, run, and go to the sugar, and he will take the thread with him. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. The farmer was so happy that he took that log and went running to Shikyo and went there and he showed him, my lord, here you are. I've done it. It is the solution. Lord Shikyo was so relieved and so happy. He gave him even more gold coins. And they sent it off to Lord Higa, hoping that this time that foolish and cruel lord would be happy. But foolish and cruel people, no, exactly, no. He wasn't. And he sent one more impossible demand. This time he said, I want a drum. They were like, we can give you a drum. But that drum should make a sound without being beaten. How can you make a drum that makes a sound without being beaten? We know what he did. Come on, run to his mother. Come on, run with me, run. He went running to the mother in the secret room. Mother, this time that silly lord wants a drum that will make a sound without being beaten. That is the easiest of them all. Now, just find a drum, take off the top. Inside, you find 1 or 2 bumblebees. Put the bumblebee and seal the drum with paper. When it tries to escape, the bumblebee will buzz and go tap against the paper, and you will have a drum that sounds without being beaten. This time the farmer was so happy. He hugged her and told her, Mother, you're brilliant, you're the best. And he went running to Lord Shikyo and gave him that solution. Lord Shikyo, of course, sent that drum straight away to Lord Higa. And then he said, young man, don't go back home, wait. And he looked at him. You have saved our village again. Surely a young man like you cannot be so wise. Tell me the truth. Who has helped you solve these problems? The young farmer trembled. My lord, for the past 2 years, I have broken the law. I have kept my mother hidden beneath the floor of my house in a secret room. And it is she who solved each of your problems and saved the village from Lord Higa. And he sank to his knees because he was sure that Lord Shikyo would throw him into the dungeon. When he dared to look at Lord Shikyo, he was shocked. Lord Shikyo was quiet and he was looking down. When Lord Shikyo looked up, I have been very wrong. I must ask the forgiveness of your mother and all the people in my village. I will never again demand that all people of our village be sent to the mountains to die. And so it was. Shikyo passed a new law that said that everyone would honor their parents and the elderly. Elderly were to be treated with respect and love because they deserved it for the wisdom that they had to share. The villagers no longer took their parents to the mountains, and the village became a happy, cheerful place. And that terrible Lord Higa, he stopped sending his impossible demands because he knew that his impossible demands were not impossible for that village. The farmer, his mother, all the people of the village lived in peace and harmony, and always just as we should. Thank you.
Thank you, Pretty, for the exciting and heartwarming story. So everyone, please do the silent applause for Pretty again. Thank you. Okay, so next up, we will actually have a poem from Pretty and
Yeah.
Roger. Over to you.
Okay, sure. Because we've been talking, maybe can we spotlight myself and Shalni? We'd like to share this poem because it's really, we've been talking about old people and young people, and we may look very different. I certainly look a lot different from most of you, okay, and even from Shalni, okay, but perhaps we have things in common, and that's what this lovely little poem has. So we're going to read it together. Off we go, Shalni.
The Little Boy and the Old Man by Shel Silverstein. Said the little boy, "Sometimes I drop my spoon."
Said the old man, I do that too.
The little boy whispered, "I wet my pants."
I do that too, laughed the little old man.
Said the little boy, "I often cry."
The old man nodded. So do I.
"But worst of all," said the boy, "it seems grown-ups don't pay any attention to me."
And he felt the warmth of a wrinkled old hand. I know what you mean, said the little old man. And that poem, along with many other wonderful poems, you can find it in this book, which is Where the Sidewalk Ends. I'm sure they have it in the library. Shel Silverstein was a wonderful, wonderful poet who writes great poems for kids. And if you haven't seen this collection, also have a look at his book, The Giving Tree, which is a fabulous story about how we people don't really look after our Mother Earth. And that's also something that we should respect. Great, back to you, Huda.
Thank you, Roger Jenkins and Pretty, for the nice poem. Okay, so move on. Okay, so A big very thank you to all our storytellers for today, Shalni, Roger Jenkins, and Pretty. So can everyone do the silent applause together with me again? Awesome. Yeah. We hope that you had a very great time listening to the stories from all around the world. We have more 398.2 Storytelling Festival 2024 sessions till 10 November. So the registration link will be provided in the chat. So do remember to register for our grand finale at our Central Public Library, which will be happening on the 10th and 9 and 10 November from 1 to 4 p.m. There are also storytelling sessions in Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. So we also
Hello everyone. So this is a feedback form. Thank you so much for joining the stories. And I'm sure you enjoyed all the stories and you know now that you should respect your elders and take care of them, right? Okay, so this is a feedback form. It will help us know how much you like the program and how we can improve. And if you fill up this form, you will get a template. And with that template, you can make a card. And Hada, could you help me play the video and they can see how it pops up? See? Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? You could make it for mommy or just for yourself and have some fun. So make sure mommy and daddy fill up this form. Okay, there's a link as well in the chat. You can use that. And the chat is open now. So you can give right now, you can give some feedback. You can send some emojis and tell us how much you loved it. You can write something or send just some images, right? I'll give you some time to do that.
Please, please, please give us feedback because otherwise SAS is going to send us to the mountains and we don't want to go.
Oh no!
To the mountains. No, we don't want that.
Yeah, I'm 71 already, so I think I'm waiting to be sent any moment. If Anamika, you come knocking on my door, I'll know you're going to send me off to the mountain. Is that right?
No, I wouldn't. We need all the stories. So please
we
make
need the
sure.
feedback. Kids.
Yes, we
Right,
need the feedback.
right.
Please, everyone, right.
Really helps us.
Teachers as well. I can see a lot of childcares. Please help us fill this feedback form, please. And children, go ahead, enjoy, write or send in your emojis to us, how much you loved it. Yes, and you can comment as well.
Tell us your favorite bits, what you're going to take away. Are you going to go back home and give your grandparents hugs? I think we should do that. I mean, go give your grandparents big hugs when you go home.
Yeah. And you can make these cards when you get the template. You can make it
Make
for
a card and
grandparents.
give
Yes, you
them.
can make it for
Absolutely.
grandparents.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These are really beautiful. And you can design it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the best thing.
You could also test them with the riddles and see if anybody in your family who didn't listen to the story, if they can guess the answer. If you had a piece of wood that was going, what was it, 7 bends, was it? Seven
That's
bends?
right.
Yeah, and you had to put a piece of thread through that. How would you do it? Okay. Can you remember the answer from the story? I like the one about the drum. I could see myself doing that. Well, I don't know how to get a bumblebee and put that inside in the drum. I don't want to get stung.
Yeah, that would be a tricky one.
But you could probably, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Maybe a seed. I don't know.
No, but it's got to be something that moves around on its own because you can't shake it. You can't hit it.
And now we can't really catch bumblebees because they're in danger. Those days it was okay.
Yeah.
And please don't go home and just grab hold of daddy's belt and put that in a bucket with salt and set fire to it, because then we get into big trouble. Please don't do that.
No, definitely not that. I hope that is time enough for you. We can move on.
So be sure to check out these recommended fairy tale books that we have based on the bridging generations for today's topic. So you can just take a and also you can check out for other fairy tale section in the public libraries, and the call number is none other than our favorite number 398.
398.2.
Yes, that's right, Roger Jenkins.
And also check out Shel Silverstein. I'm going to put that in the group chat because he's a wonderful author and you will love his books.
Yeah, his poems are really fun, short and funny.
Okay.
There's one about spitting from the 26th floor or something and watching the spit go down to the ground. Very
Oh
naughty,
my
but very
gosh.
funny.
Yeah. You better not show children that. We'll have to go out with an umbrella.
I should have read that one before I did my spitting and see how far I could spit.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to go and read that poem.
Yeah,
Be sure.
where the sidewalk ends.
Nice.
Okay, other than that, I'll also pass over to
Yeah.
Deepti.
Okay, so this is a book. As Roger told you before, we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. 398.
Yay!
Very long. Yay! And we have made a storybook. Okay, this is an Asian folktale book that has stories from our storytellers here in Singapore and around, all the SS members. So come down and buy this book from us. You can listen to some of the stories there as well on 9th and 10th at the Central Library at Bugis. So come down and listen to the stories and buy the books. And you might catch some authors there. You can get their autograph there.
You certainly will.
Yep, yep. They'll all be moving around, so you'll have to find them. So get these books.
Thank you, Abigail.
Thank
One of
you.
our wonderful librarians has put the link for Where the Sidewalk Ends in the chat. So you
Wow, there we
click it,
go.
Wow.
you can
And
click
thank
it.
you for the library staff. Thank you so much for helping us today with the stories and handling the back end tech work.
And thank you, Jolene, for being a Zoom Tech host from behind. Huda, Abigail, you've been wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, children, for being such a wonderful audience. I loved telling stories just because I could see you all dancing and jumping with me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. But first, we also have, lastly, it's actually our early read own link tree that has our programs, resources, and many more for young children. So you can scan the QR code and for more of the other 398.2 storytelling festival sessions, including the 9 and 10 of November. So have a great evening ahead and goodbye.
You can leave the previous slide on it. Because for the early read, people may want to take it. Go ahead and scan this and then when we're done, we'll say bye for now. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. We have more sessions. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. See
Bye.
ya.
Bye.
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 See you at the Central Library.
And see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see
We have
you.
one more
Yeah.
session.
We have one more session tomorrow, so see you tomorrow.
Yay.
See you at the Central Library.
Yeah, see you there, as a
I like the
Nidhi.
stories. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, Nidhi. I think it's just us.
Is it just us?
Yep, we're done.
Lisa is from NLD?
Yes, she
Yes. Okay.
let's end the share. We can go. It's good.
Yeah, good to go.
Shall we end the recording?
Session. Thank you. I really enjoyed.